It's Wednesday, so it must be time for the Monday line. Politics BC, that would be before Boehner and Cameron, looking back at 800 days. Now, although they're separated by an ocean, UK Prime Minister David Cameron and US Speaker of the House John Boehner are both tilting at austerity windmills whilst quietly and busily rewarding their deep-pocketed special interest pals. Both men know the value of a good show of emotion. John Boehner cries. David Cameron bites his lip and looks sternly downward. Both have difficulties whipping their parties into line, though, and both have agendas that stubbornly ignore one fact. Austerity in a time of recession does not work and serves only to lengthen and deepen the recession. And both men are completely out of touch with the, quote, common, close quote, man, or even recognize that women, common or otherwise, exist. Government and governing are private clubs to them. They control them, and only they care what voters think at election time when they pander for those votes. Now, last week, David Cameron insisted that despite a credit rating downgrade of UK's sovereign debt, the IMF long on record stating austerity is choking the UK economy, signs of a triple-dip recession, and the NHS leader publicly speaking of stealth privatization of the service by destroying this signature national health system, his government would stay the course and make cuts faster and deeper than previously suggested. Now, his opposite leadership number in the U.S. House, John Boehner, approaches 800 days as the Speaker and has already headed the most unproductive House of Representatives in history, where their objectives were to stop the financial regulations, prevent Food Safety Modernization Act from becoming law, eliminate health reform funding, and reduce funding for 9/11 first responders, amongst a slew of other cuts. Last week, he yelled at the Senate to, quote, get off their asses, close quote, and said the House had moved 2 bills on a topic, the sequester, and would not move a third, whilst seeming to forget the 2 bills of which he spoke were from the previous 112th Congress. And indeed, since bills must, under the Constitution, originate in the House, he would have to submit a 3rd bill. So the sequester has hit the U.S. because U.S. Republicans are angry that they still must deal with a black president who overwhelmingly won re-election in November. So bad is the situation that political commentator Rachel Maddow took to naming the various faux controversies like tropical or winter storms because Boehner and Republicans have chosen to gin up a crisis every 4 months or so whilst the USA's infrastructure crumbles. Some even suggested it was the Tea Party's intention writ large, allow paralyzing cuts to occur so the government is ground to a complete halt. Well, that only works until people are affected and stand up. Here in the UK, the government of David Cameron knows it takes a lot more than what he has done to rev up the British public. Here, a stiff upper lip is what happens when real crises strike. People here are taught to keep calm and carry on, so even while banksters in the City of London give themselves huge bonuses, they know public outrage will only last a short time because they can get away with almost anything but another deep recession. And the replacement is no better, often compared to Gromit of Wallace and fame. But David Cameron badly lost a key by-election this week in Eastleigh, and now his backbenchers, who are about as controllable as the US Tea Party coalition, are starting to worry about a general election just 2 years away. There have even been rumblings of a full-on leadership challenge because they're going head-to-head with Labour in the coming months in many other by-election contests. Now, already both men's parties poll just slightly above a cockroach infestation with the public. But like many, my own MP is not necessarily a bad guy, even if he is a Tory. The Guardian ICM poll, though, shows Labour gaining strongly, and it does not help Cameron if he's likely to also lose coalition partners the Lib Dems at the next election. Now, chances of an outright Tory victory seem slim to none in 2015, but Labour is also lacking in strength and enthusiasm. And when you talk U.S. elections, the Republicans have so jerry-rigged House districts that they're lulled into a false sense of security on multiple fronts. Yes, it takes between 2 and 3 Democratic votes in some districts to every 1 GOP vote to defeat an incumbent, and 700 more days of this nonsense will be disastrous for the Republican Party. They're counting on the 6-year itch and a history of throwing out the president's party after 6 years. That would be a mistake. With their single-digit approval ratings, a lack of tech specialists wanting to even support a party that attacks their gay friends, and a tone-deaf approach to women's rights, they've earned the disdain of all of those parties, plus Hispanics and African Americans. These were determining factors in the last election, and the last 2 years of an Obama administration could be very productive indeed. But they first must withstand a lot of silliness. 800 days with Boehner and Cameron have shown little legislating, lots of backroom deals protecting their patrons, pronouncements blaming their predecessors, and a whole lot of nothing accomplished on what the real problems are. And by the time we get to the next election, another 700 days will have passed for both men. And when the Republicans had a president from their party, he blamed the Democratic Congress for high unemployment, gas prices, and unsustainable debt. Now, according to John Boehner, it's all the fault of the Democratic president? Wow, that is some twisted logic operating there. And anyone else out there who thinks 800 days of dysfunction is enough, that it's time for a new course in both the US and the UK, and thinks perhaps the first 535 sequester layoffs should be the US Congress, raise your hand. Good. Now get on the phone and let these clowns on both sides of the Atlantic know how you feel, and that you will not be ignored.